What's up, guys? Welcome back to Cop Logic. So, I am back with a transfer update. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm doing a transfer update, because it's not even, the transfer window is not even open yet. It's only just closed like a month ago. But a lot of news has already come out. I wanted to try and save some of this until January, or at least closer to January, to see if it stuck around. But there's some stories, there's some good things in here, so I thought I may as well get a video, compile it all together, and just see what people think. So, without further ado, let's go on to the first one, which is this. So Real Madrid want to sign Trent Alexander-Arnold from Liverpool next summer. Now, this has only come out today. This is fresh. This is brand new. It's that way. We have only just learnt this. But basically, apparently Real Madrid want Trent from Liverpool. This is being reported from Defensa Central. Don't know how credible they are. Apparently they're a Spanish, it looks like Real Madrid based source, but they are saying that Real Madrid could be in the market for a new right back to compete with Dani Carvajal. They want either Trent Alexander-Arnold, Youssef Attal, or Reece James. It's unlikely the 22-year-old Liverpool man signed they'll get it because try that again. The 22-year-old Liverpool-born man has recently just signed a new deal, a long-term deal that keeps him here till July 2025. It just goes on to say he was an academy graduate playing for his boyhood club, signed a new long-term contract. It's unlikely that they'll get him, which I agree with. There's a number of things why this probably will happen. Well, first and foremost, probably Trent won't want a move away. He's a Scouser. He loves Liverpool. It's his boyhood club. He's playing for them and they're doing well. So, why would you want to move away? We're winning stuff. We are going in the right direction to progress and evolve and keep winning trophies and all sorts. And he's an integral part of that system. So, why would you want to move away? He's shown he's not money driven. He was one of our lowest earners considering his performances for us in so many competitions. In fact, his detrimental performance for us in so many competitions. He's the reason we won the Champions League. He's the reason we won the Premier League. And, he's a big factor into why we won the Premier League. But, I don't think he's keen to move anytime soon. The only values in moving to Real Madrid for a normal person would be the history and the money. I mean, the money, although they are coming out of the debt quite well, they are still in debt. The history, the fact that they're European champions, they are probably the best European champions, having won the Champions League 13 times. You could probably negate that with the fact that Trent's playing for his boyhood club, who are the English European champions. So what I mean by that is the best English team in Europe. So yeah, it's I don't see him wanting to move away. Oh, also because apparently Real Madrid want to buy Mbappe and Haaland. So I can't see them buying Haaland, Mbappe, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Also, Liverpool just won't want to sell him. So if they knock at our door, even if Trent wanted to go, and even if Real Madrid wanted to sell him, to buy him, we'd probably want a lot of money for him. So don't see it happening, to be honest. But it is what it is. So I wouldn't worry about that one too much. I can't see him leaving LFC to go to Real Madrid, especially because La Liga is pretty much dead now. Anyway, it's the new league earn. Next one. Excuse me. This is also a new one that's come out today. Naby Keita is set to snub contract renewal talks with Liverpool Football Club if he is not given a more prominent role in the team. Now, I know the immediate thought is he can't even stay fit to play in the team. I know. But hear me out. I don't think this is as direct as what the journalists are reporting. First off, we don't know if it's true. I don't know how credible CF Bayern is, if he's a credible source or not. It looks like he's particularly keyed up with German football. So I don't know how credible he'll be. Secondly, I think if it is true, it's probably more of a case of Naby saying, look, if I can stay fit, if I can keep myself free of injury, can I get a more important role? Which I think is probably what's been the case, but because saying he's going to snub the contract talks and making him out to be a diva, that sells the story more. I think journalists are probably going to exclude those details. But I don't think Naby's the type of person to look. He's not dumb, but he understands he's always injury prone. So, I mean, he's literally against Norwich the day he kicked the turf, and he's now injured. He's not playing against Brentford apparently. He's so I can't imagine. I mean, I'm sure so our midfield in general consists probably regularly of Thiago, Fabinho, Henderson. Henderson might have to be swapped out sometimes because of fitness and stuff, but it's likely that Keita would be in those roles, and if not, he'd be rotated with Thiago. Thiago's 31, Henderson's 31, I think, and he's and Keita's 26. If he can keep himself fit, which seems to be an issue for himself, but if he can keep himself fit, then I'm sure the LFC and FSG and Klopp and all sorts, Klopp and co, wouldn't mind giving him a more prominent role in the team. You could even, I mean, what does more prominent mean? Because staying fit will naturally give you a more prominent role. Like, if not Thiago, you'd be our midfield choice, and it was at the start of the season. It's only recently that we started swapping in Thiago, and I imagine with Klopp having learned to rotate more, or learning to rotate more, that would have only become more frequent. He would have been, in the games more often. He would have been starting in the games more often. But, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I imagine it's not as straightforward as what the journalists report. I think there's probably going to be some context behind it, but they're just going to exclude the context in order to sell the story, get some clicks and stuff like that. So, I'd be more than happy to see him get a more prominent role. I think he's brilliant when he can stay fit and if he can get some consistent game time. It is just the injuries that are riddling him, that are limiting him there. But I'm assuming he's not dumb enough to think that he just deserves to walk into the team having been injured for months and months and months, and now because he's back and fit, he just gets to walk back into his spot. I don't think he's that type of person, but you never know. So we'll follow that. We'll learn more on that as time goes on, because I think his contract's up by the end of this summer. Or next summer. Can't remember which one. But yeah, we'll see. Next one. Which one? Okay, this one's interesting. So, we have been linked to a RB Salzburg striker called Karim Adayemi. He is 18 years old. He used to play for Bayern Munich, and they sold him, I think, to a club I can't remember, who then sold him to Salzburg, I think. He's got something like 18 goals and 16 assists in 62 games or something like that for Salzburg. He's sort of the successor to Patton Daka by the looks of it, or at least that's what they're wanting from him. He's 19 there, as you can see. But yeah, so he's apparently been linked to us. Barcelona and Bayern Munich also still eyeing him up. Although we're planning to have talks with them in January to bring him in. So that'll be interesting. Apparently he's worth between 15 and 25 million pound. So would I like to see him at LFC? Absolutely. I think something that we should have as an option is the possibility of having just an out-and-out striker. If the centre forward role isn't working, or if Bobby is injured or whatever, then we can switch it up just a tiny bit by putting an out striker on, who, if he comes in now while Bobby's still here, then happy days, he can learn from him. He can do hopefully both the centre forward and the striker role. But yeah, they're my favourite kind of transfers. The cheap and cheerful. Hopefully, a lot of potential with the kid, and I wouldn't be against him joining in January. But yeah, we'll see. We'll follow that one. He has said that if Bayern Munich were to offer a return to their club, he would prefer that option, purely because he wants to prove them wrong, and that he feels like that's completing his challenge if they want him again and he goes back. But we'll see. We'll apparently haven't talked to them in January, so we'll see closer to the time if anything else comes from this. Next one. Oh yeah, there's confirmation. Liverpool are considering a January move for RB Salzburg forward Karim Adayemi. That comes from Transfer Market. I think CF Bayern also confirmed that as well. Again, don't know how credible some of these sources are, as I don't frequently see them. There's another one. Confirming the actual talk itself, as I mentioned. Next one. Liverpool considered signing Patrick Bamford earlier this year, with Klopp and his recruitment team a big fan of the striker, but Bamford was not keen on leaving Elland Road to become fifth choice forward at Anfield. Quick one on this, because nothing really happened. It was confirmed by Neil Jones, goal, who is, Neil Jones. If you're a Liverpool fan, he's pretty reliable when it comes to Liverpool stuff. Yeah, slightly disappointing. I don't know why we then didn't go and look for someone else if we were looking at Patrick Bamford. Would I have had him? I think he has the potential to be one of those people that is okay at a club like Leeds. Like he's good at Leeds. Is he top four worthy? I don't know, but if he's going to fit into any team, I think it would probably be not Liverpool. So I wouldn't be too excited. But you never know. He is an out and out striker himself, but I don't think would have the mentality to learn to sometimes implement the Bobby type role. So I think he would just try and go for goal every time. He wouldn't look to see the final pass, which sometimes Bobby does and works out. Whereas if he was to take it, it wouldn't work out. But the thing that interests me here is he says he doesn't want to become the fifth choice forward. No, yeah, okay, Bobby, Mo, Mane, Jota. But then who's the fifth? Like is he the so he would be the fifth there? But why is he counting Mo, Mane, and Jota? He's a striker. Unless he knows something, unless there's talks that went on, and someone said to him, "Look, you'll be versatile. You'll play on the wing. You'll play wherever. We need you to play in the forward line." And he's like, "Nah, I don't want to be the fifth choice." But then he wouldn't always be the fifth choice. It's likely we'd play him as a substitute or not replacement, but cover for Bobby, which clearly it was needed now because Bobby's been injured since the Chelsea game for a couple of weeks. So you wouldn't have. You wonder what his thinking is there with the fact that he says he doesn't want to be the fifth choice forward. You wouldn't really be the fifth choice forward. You'd be the second choice striker. And probably rotated fairly commonly with Bobby as well, who's getting on. So it is what it is. Am I gutted? Maybe a little bit, but not massively. Again, as I say, don't think his play style quite suits our system. I think he'd do better at, say, something like a City maybe, or a Manchester United. But I don't think we would he'd suit our system too well, but I could be wrong. Plus, for the money they probably want for him, he's probably likely to be around £30 to £40 million, and I don't know how old he is, but I don't think he's below 24 or something. So I don't know. Not too disappointed, but there is one more, but I seem to have not had it up here. But you'll see me typing it now. Here we go. Top source claims Liverpool have significant interest in Jude Bellingham. This one excites me. So, it was reported by the Liverpool Echo, by the Sky Sports Premier League, by Paul Joyce. Now, if you know Paul Joyce, if you're a Liverpool fan, if you know Paul Joyce, he's one of the most reliable ones out there. That Liverpool have an interest, that LFC have interest in Jude Bellingham, in signing Jude Bellingham for a reported fee of 80 million. Now, this is good because it shows that it's legit that we have interest. He gets on well with the Liverpool guys. He gets on really well with Jordan Henderson by the looks of it. You've seen some of their stuff in the England training camp, and they seem to get along really well. But there's a few factors into whether or not this will work out. First and foremost, I want to say I fully hope this does work out. I think my normal style of transfers, I don't like big name signings. I normally don't go for them purely because I feel more so than others that I feel the risk more. And what I mean by that is when you make a big money signing, there's always the risk that they're not going to play out how you wanted it to, or how they got on wherever they were signed from. Prime example for us was Coutinho. Barcelona bought him for 130, 120 million, something like that, or 140 maybe, and he's been just probably, in my opinion, the worst piece of transfer business ever. He not only hasn't performed for them, but he's actually done them over in the fact that he helped knock them out of a Champions League, went on to win it with the club he was loaned at, and then Barcelona, because there was a clause in there that if you won a trophy, didn't specify what team, they have to pay us. So they paid us, allegedly. Well, I say they paid us. We sold on the thing to the transfer to a debt company years ago, so they had to pay the debt company basically. But it's so I hope this goes through. Sort of contradict myself with the fact that I don't like big money signings, but I hope this goes through. But Jude Bellingham, I can't quite put my finger on why. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what it is, but I just think that he's not got the risk. I just have a feeling that he's good for Liverpool. I just feel like he suits the system. I don't know why. It's not even like he plays our type of football. He's very progressive, and our midfield is generally quite defensive. But I think that sort of helps us. I think that changes our system. Well, it adapts our system, but in a way where it doesn't fully break the mold. It does, like, he just helps us a little bit more progressive, because he's still good defensively. I'm not trying to say that he's not, but he can pass the ball forward. He can get the ball forward. He can dribble. He can get in around the box and stuff like that. And I think he'd just be brilliant in our midfield. He's a different addition, but he doesn't break the system basically. I just feel like the risk there is less than others. Say, for example, if we were to get a Haaland, there's no guarantee that Haaland would play for us the same way he plays for Dortmund. But I would always worry. Obviously, you'd get the excitement if we said tomorrow, or if LFC announced that, I don't know, we'd signed Mbappe. Obviously, the excitement would be there because you're signing a big name. But there would always be the little worry in my head going, what if this goes wrong? Because bad transfers can set you back years. I mean, look at what it did to Barca. I mean, Barca, to be fair, they did a number of bad business deals, but it can set you back years, especially for a club like Liverpool who are sell to buy. If you're a club like Chelsea or City, it doesn't really affect you as much, but for a club like Liverpool, it can set us back years, just one bad transfer. So, but I don't know, I just don't feel like that's going to be the case with Jude. If we were to go and get him, I think he'd be a great addition. I hope we see it through. Now, why I can see this not going through is for a number of reasons. First off, as I said before, we are a sell-to-buy club. Meaning that if we were to go for Jude for this, whatever it's been reported, £80 million transfer fee, which I think would be our highest transfer fee in Liverpool history. But if we were to go for it, we'd have to sell a few players on. Now, there is some options that could happen here. All of the front three are out of contract from 2023, I think. It was reported that it's unlikely all of them are going to get contract extensions. Currently, the only one progressing quite well seems to be Mo's, which is good. That's the one that should be. Does that then leave us in a position where if we can't get Mane's and Bobby's sorted, that we then have to sell them, or will they leave on a free? I think possibly what the plan is, if this is true, is we will sell one of them, use that as the funds to try and get Jude. Which is why, if it does happen, we might be going for Adayemi, who's a cheaper striker alternative to replace him. But you never know. It could be announced tomorrow that Bobby and Mane have signed a new contract, and then I'm shooting myself in the foot. But you never know. That's just one option. I can't see us selling anywhere else. All the defence have just been given long deals pretty much, apart from one of the centre backs, which is Joe and Matip. Midfield, not going to be Hendo, not going to be Fab. Keita can possibly go, but I think he's out of contract next season anyway, and if those reports are to be believed, he might go for free anyway, or he might want to just leave on a free. Who else? Thiago, we don't think we'll sell. I don't think we'll sell any of the youngsters. I just don't see, other than the front three, any of the front three, and I don't think it'll be Mo. I don't see us selling anyone apart from those two, or one of those two. So I think it could be just. I think if we do go for this, or I mean, surprise shock, it might actually come from John's pocket. John Henry might pay for it out of his own, money, or he might use the profits from this season, or I don't know. We'll see. Secondly, though, although it's confirmed that we have interest, that doesn't guarantee that Dortmund will be interested. You saw last year the business that they did. They purposely didn't sell Haaland because they knew they were going to lose Jadon Sancho. Now you can argue that it was probably the wrong way around, because what that meant is that Haaland will now be leaving this summer for significantly less than what they probably could have got for him last summer. I believe Chelsea had put a bid in for him for about 100 million, something like that. They denied it. They didn't even look at it. I think they did the second one for 120 million. They denied him and just didn't even acknowledge that as well. So they're very keen when they have an option to not sell more than one of their stars in a season, in a summer. They stick to it. They don't do it, even if it means at a loss. They go at a loss for it, because what they could have done is sold Sancho and sold Haaland for 170 million combined or something like that, or 177 million or something like that, and then they would have been without both Haaland and Alexa keeps interrupting me. Apologise for that. They could have sold them both for 177 million, and they could have been living it, but they might have been put in poor position to go through this season. They're very much like us, but they're a little bit more effective with their business. They'll buy. They're sell to buy, but they will already have people lined up. They'll be confident enough that they'll sign them, and they will potentially purchase the replacement before the full sale, because they're so difficult to deal with in terms of transfer, Dortmund, they are sure that if they get it through the line, then if they can get the one player out, they'll be able to get the other player in. So they will buy them first and then make that so that they, worst case scenario, they've got both. Best case scenario, they have their replacement already. But with Haaland almost certainly going this summer, it's likely that unless they get a replacement for Jude, or if they can find a replacement for Jude that they're happy with, that they won't sell him. Because Haaland's release clause kicks in, so people like Chelsea, Bayern, City, they'll all be talking straight to Haaland and trying to convince them to come to their club. Now Dortmund can trust Haaland to try and not screw them over with terms of the transfer fee or the release clause or whatever, but will he do it? His agent is Mino Raiola, and if you know him, he's pretty savage when it comes to football. So as an agent, he's not the greatest fan of all the clubs. But we'll see. If we can convince Dortmund to sell us them, or if they can find a replacement for him, then maybe we have a chance. But I don't think, with the fact that one, we have to make the money. Two, we have to convince Dortmund to sell them, despite the fact they're losing one of their star players as well that summer. And three, maybe Jude likes it at Dortmund. He's doing quite well in Bundesliga. I mean, you'd think he wants to come back to England, but you never know. Especially to a club like Liverpool. Historically one of the biggest teams in England. You'd hope he'd want to come here, but you never know. He could ultimately turn around and say no. So you need to factor in that Dortmund might not want to sell him. He might not want to come here. We need to raise the money to get him. And yeah, although we've got interest, and it's nice to hear that we've got interest and it's from a reliable source, whether or not it goes ahead is a different question. I hope it does, but we'll see. Hopefully this is one that sticks around closer to January, or at least the summer for this one probably. But as I say, we'll see. So, I think that's all of them. We covered Bamford. We covered Keita, we covered Trent, we covered Adayemi, we covered Jude. That's all of them. So, let me know what you think on all these bits of transfer news. Is there anyone out of these you would like to see us sign? Is there anyone that you would like to see us let go? Is there anyone you'd like to see us not sign? Let me know. I'm interested. But I think that's all for now. As I say, if there is anything more, we will keep you up to date. We'll have transfer updates out as and when important news comes through. So yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure to follow us on all of our social medias. They're all just down there. Stay tuned for more videos. The next one is a watch along. It is a watch along for the Brentford match. That is on Saturday. We go live at 5 for that. So make sure you're there. The highlights will be out not long after that, so stick around for them as well. And see you soon. Ciao, mate.